here. How are you guys doing? Let's talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. This happens to be second reboot of Spider-Man. Please note that. And this time directed by Jon Watts. I've seen his filmography. He hasn't done anything remarkable in the past. This is Marvel Sony joint venture. You can say that, Sony, they want to get their hands dirty in everything or anything, whatever they do. Lots of product placements, and apart from Sony, there is Audi also this time. Anyways, guys, we are not concerned about that. We wanted our Spider-Man movie, and we got one. So how is this movie? I will let you know step by step. Speaking of the story of the movie, guys, it's very grounded story, and this time it revolves around heavily university atmosphere and Peter Parker, his daily routines, his love interest, of course, and in between comes a villain, and everything changed. Also, guys, what I like about this movie, I'll let you know. First thing first, Tom Holland. Wow, I think for me, for my generation in 2002, something remarkable happened. This first Spider-Man, directed by Sam Raimi, we all were completely floored, or you can say blown away by that movie. I still love Spider-Man a lot. So guys, I was thinking, who is going to replace Tobey Maguire? Here comes Andrew Garfield after that, and I think he has done a good job, but still my Spider-Man, or the way I like it, Tobey Maguire was perfect. Somehow in between there were rumors and news that Tom Holland is cast as Spider-Man, and I was a bit confused about that. But then I saw him in Captain America Civil War. It was a very short and effective, you can say, role in that movie. But this time they have expanded it, and man, Tom Holland is awesome. I mean, hats off to Marvel. Their every casting is near perfect. We can't imagine anyone else playing, Tony Stark, but only this guy, Robert Downey Jr. Same goes with Wolverine, same goes with Falcon, same goes with Vision. Their casting is so superb and awesome. Let's talk about, that's the first thing I like about this. Tom Holland is perfect. Second thing that I like about this movie, or you can say Marvel's movies, is fan service. I really admire them for bringing this fan stuff, and they are just shoving and throwing upon us. Like, for example, guys, there is always a Star Wars reference, and we are geeks, we love Star Wars, and whenever there is something minor or bigger there in Marvelverse or any other movie related to Star Wars, we just love that. So in Marvel movies there is lots of fan service, and they really do care about the fans, and they love their fans, and of course the fans, they also love Marvel movies and all. This time there is a Star Wars reference, there is other sorry, I'm way too much pumped this time, pumped this time, come on. So where was I? Yeah, so lots of Avengers references. There are some short cameos here and there also. Stanley's there, everybody is there. I just love these things. This Marvel universe, it feels so family oriented, and somehow it is also a bag step for them. What do you call it? Backdraw for them. But I'm cool with that. That's the second thing I like about this movie. The third thing I like about this movie, guys, is the diversity. The kind of times we are going through, we have to accept diversity. We have to be, extremely optimistic about other cultures, and the way this world is moving fast, that it's getting narrow, smaller day by day. Speaking of myself also, I have Filipino colleagues, I have Indian colleagues, I have Pakistani colleagues, I have European, and I also have Lebanese friends and all, so Egyptians also. So the thing is, we are living in a diverse culture, and one way or the other we just come to terms with such people, such beautiful people. We come to know their cultures and everything. This time Spider-Man's best friend happens to be from Philippines, and his teacher is from China or maybe Korea. His love interest is African American. There's lots of diversities at play over here, guys, and it's really remarkable. I just love that aspect of it. And speaking of Tom Holland and his friend Ned, played by, I forgot his name. Beautiful chemistry between both of these guys. It reminds me, at one time I also had a friend who was very chubby and all. He's still my friend, but the thing is, that thing really plays very good. It's like Laurel and Hardy kind of a thing, and apart from that, they have very good chemistry also. So guys, I really appreciate diversity over here in these movies. And the fourth thing I like and I dislike also is, of course, Vulture. Michael Keaton, oh my god, this guy is so magnificent. I mean, everything this guy does, mostly it's about birds, you know that, and you might have heard also, like Birdman was mind-blowing movie in the year 2014, I think. It was my second best, it was on the, in my list, it was second best. I loved Birdman. I also like him as Batman at one point, you know that, and now he's playing Vulture. Finally, I can say Marvel has a very good villain. The way I said, I like this point and I dislike also. The thing is, there is no seriousness to this villain. I never felt serious threat. It was always like, okay, by the end of the day, I don't think he's going to kill Spider-Man. There was no threat at all. And whatever his actions were, they were not, nothing was at stake, you know. No seriousness, nothing at stake. My children are playing with the frickin' rail. I just bought train. Pardon that. Holy shit. Yeah. So the villain, I mean, to me, the way he portrayed is very nice, very amazing. He's very energetic also. His dialogue, some of the best dialogues from this movie are spoken by, yes, Michael Keaton and of course Tony Stark also. There is nothing memorable spoken by Tom Holland. I mean, like, with great responsibility comes great, nothing like that over here. Okay guys, before I tell you what I dislike about this movie, let me tell you one more point. Marvel, yes, you, Marvel. You're always after DC, right? Marvel loves to take jabs at DC, you know? Uppercut, lower cut, punch. Marvel likes to take some serious jabs at DC. In all of their movies, one way or the other, there is a DC reference. I don't know why it is there. In Deadpool, Deadpool took direct jab at Batman, right? At one point. And in this movie, guys, can you believe there is a character, a side character whose name is Flash? A character, a minor character. Of all the names in the bloody universe, they chose Flash. I don't know why, but it's there. You can see that also. And to me, it's a love-hate relationship. I love whenever Marvel does that, but over here it seemed a little bit over the top also, and it's a bit of confusing. At one point, Spider-Man takes Flash's car, and the other fellow says him, "Dude, it's so cool, you took Flash car, stole Flash car." Wow, great job, Marvel. I really like whenever Marvel takes a jab at DC. And let's get down to the things I dislike about this movie, guys. Okay guys, first thing first, the things I didn't like about this movie. Number one thing, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but I didn't like the Spider-Man. I mean, it must be like pretty confusing to you guys, but let me tell you one thing. What good is a Spider-Man who doesn't have any senses? Come on, my spider senses are tingling. Remember those lines when we were kids we used to read? It's not over here. Spider-Man has zero senses. Come on. Let me tell you one thing. The Russo brothers, they are fascinating, marvelous action directors. You know, they are the best in their business, in this business. And at one point, I think Falcon in Civil War, or maybe the Winter Soldier, throws something at Spider-Man. So you can see his eyes, because he senses something coming from behind. Maybe if I could find, I'll link that sequence for you guys. Over here, nothing is happening. Spider-Man is heavily relying upon that great new suit from Tony Stark. It really pisses me a lot. This was the biggest complaint I was having, that Spider-Man this time he's too much relying heavy on this suit. So guys, without suit, what is a Spider-Man? Of course, that thing is earlier done in Iron Man 3 also. Same formula they have applied over here also. I don't know where this I mean, I was expecting the story to be groundbreaking this time and something new, something refreshing, but somehow it feels like Marvel is running out of ideas and skipping the, I mean, family oriented or this fun theme, bride sort of thing. It's really messing up Marvel's storyline. I personally feel like that. Now you see, for me, this is not a Spider-Man movie. It's just it just feels like Iron Man mini-me. You know, from Dr. Evil, Austin Powers, Iron Man's suit has a love child with Spider-Man. Oh my god, what I'm saying. What I meant to say, the suit speaks to Spider-Man, just like Jarvis speaks to I mean Tony Stark's. Now Jarvis is an AI developed by Tony Stark. What I meant to say, Jarvis is an artificial intelligence, okay, created by Tony Stark. But over here, Spider-Man is talking to Karen. Yeah, he named that artificial intelligence Karen. Okay, so the suit is reminiscent or something similar to Iron Man's suit, which really pisses me a lot. So this is the first complaint I have, that Spider-Man suit over here, or Spider-Man, he's relying heavily upon this suit created by Tony Stark. It just feels like Iron Man mini-me, you know, that small mini-me Dr. Evil thing. Apart from that, guys, there is no seriousness in this movie, and almost like 40 minutes in, there was no big action set piece. And action set pieces also this time I'm not extremely convinced or happy with. Of course, have you guys seen Spider-Man 2? Of course, all of you guys have seen Spider-Man 2. Do you guys remember that Doc Ock fight on the, moving train, that speed train, bullet train? That sequence was awesome, and single best sequence in any Spider-Man movie. After that, they haven't topped it. They haven't tried. They haven't even tried to make an action set piece better or cooler than that Spider-Man 2 sequence. So there wasn't a single memorable action set piece that I enjoyed from this movie. Action was okay, and from Marvel or from Spider-Man, right now this is not the time to deliver an okay sequence. This is the second biggest complaint I have with this movie, that where is the action, what's happening over here. The third thing that I didn't like about this movie is Marvel's formula of bringing two giants in a single movie, in a solo movie. It happened in the Winter Soldier, it happened earlier also, we know that. And this time also with Spider-Man, there is Tony Stark. In forthcoming Thor Ragnarok, there is going to be Hulk with Thor, but that chemistry we have seen earlier, and I think it's gonna work. But over here, at times I felt like whenever I see Tony Stark, I want to see Iron Man. I'm serious about that. Once you see Iron Man over there, who cares about Spider-Man? I'm not trying to unbalance over here. What I meant to say, of course, Tom Holland's performance is groundbreaking as Peter Parker. But come on, guys, if you keep on bringing these characters somehow, and they play crucial parts in the movies, we have zero interest in the new character and more interest. Of course, they have this formula successful in the Winter Soldier and other movies. But every time if they are applying such formula, I don't think it's gonna work, and it's for longer term. DC's Wonder Woman, not even a single superhero, no Batman, no Superman, maybe some references far away, but nothing we saw. Single-handedly, Wonder Woman just took over the entire box office and our hearts also. She was amazing. Same thing I wanted from Spider-Man also. Tony Stark is there, Iron Man is there, it's always a plus for the movie. But what I meant to say is sometimes it gets overshadowed. And third thing, guys, speaking of Marvel post-credit sequences, we really like those sequences, and we are sitting our asses over there for 10-15 minutes. And by the end of the time, what we see is a stupid, most stupid, post-credit scene I've ever seen. The mid-credit sequence is okay, but what the hell was that? Come on, they have done it in Deadpool also, but in Deadpool, he addresses it with humor. That guys, why you are sitting over here, yalla, rush. We loved that, but over here this time it was way too stupid. So guys, how did I like Spider-Man Homecoming? I'm a bit disappointed this time, and I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. It's an okay movie. To me, it's a one-time movie, and maybe there is very less rewatch value. I was hoping it to be more action-packed, kick-ass, but somehow it's not. And let's talk about my favorite Spider-Man, worst to best. Spider-Man 3 is the worst. I dislike that movie and I hate that movie, and I have seen only once in my life. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was okay. It's at number 5. The Amazing Spider-Man for me is at number 4. Andrew Garfield was okay in those movies, and I liked that guy. The guy had, some charm to it. But of course, he wasn't that perfect as a Spider-Man. He was more sober and serious, but Spider-Man is the one humorous guy we need as a Spider-Man. At number 3, guys, of course, Spider-Man Homecoming, just because of Tom Holland. I have nothing against Tom Holland and his portrayal. He is marvelous. He has great sense of humor. His comedic timing is perfect. The guy is a very talented guy, and of course he's a very, athletic also. At number 2 is Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I've said it. It must be disappointing to you guys, but for me Spider-Man 2 is at number 2, and at number 1 it will always be the first Spider-Man. You know why? Because that is pure magic. At time when it was released, I remember Roger Ebert and many big reviewers over there, and of course ourselves also, we were completely blown away by that movie, and that movie had brought too much charm to superhero genre, and after that it keeps on changing. Of course Nolan movies are there, of course Iron Man, Jon Favreau's there, but to me Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 will always be at number 1, and best Spider-Man movie ever. The way the story unfolds, and Mary Jane, those were amazing times, and I just loved that movie a lot. Maybe I've seen it many times, hundreds of times, and still I know Spider-Man 2 is better movie, way better technologically also, and Doc Ock, that character, it was magnificent. But somehow I just loved the first Spider-Man more than any other Spider-Man movie. It's only me, guys. You can also comment down and let me know your hierarchy, the way you like Spider-Man movies. Also, please let me know, do let me know which is your favorite sequence from this movie. That's about it, guys. Take care of yourself. Raj out. Masalam. Bye. Bye-bye.